Hi guys, it's Cindy Lietz, your polymer clay tutor. In today's PCT product demo, I'm going to be doing a review on the product called Cernit, which is a polymer clay out of Belgium. And these blocks of polymer clay were given to me by one of our fellow viewers. She's also a fellow YouTuber by the name of Emmeline, and her channel is Cernit Polymer. Hopefully I haven't butchered the name, but it stands for Sergeant Marshmallow, which is such a cute name. Anyways, her and a friend of hers, Elodie from Creo Max, I believe it is. I'll give you the links and stuff to their sites later. But she also gave me some of these, and I'm going to do a review for you because it's a little different than previous polymer clays that I've worked with before. All right, so first of all, let me just show you what the blocks look like. They sent me quite a few. They kind of are done in series. So they have the #1 series. They have a translucent series. Now there's more in the #1 series. There's more in the translucent series, but they sent me a few of each. They also have a neon series, or neon light, a nature series, a glamour series, and a brand new series called shiny. Now, it's a little bit different. Well, it's similar to Primo in some respects as far as consistency, how it feels, but it's a little bit different. One thing about this product that I think is really interesting is that there is like zero smell to it. I just cannot smell anything at all. And most polymer clays have a scent to it, and this one is just really no scent at all. And so any of you that are very sensitive to scents, then this will be a really great product for you. It comes in a 2-ounce block. It looks a little different than the Primo block. This is also a 2-ounce block just because of its shape, and it's a little thinner, a little taller. The consistency of it in general, I had a couple of blocks in here that were quite dried out that I could easily, you can see here that the package is kind of dried out. I believe it was probably just because they're older. That can happen to a lot of clays, but I was able to condition it again by adding a little bit of Sculpey softener to it. And then I also had a couple of blocks that were quite squishy. This one, for example, here was quite squishy. I don't believe it's got anything to do with any of the series. I bet it's just got to do with freshness. So this would be a super fresh block. So if you have consistency differences between your different blocks, some of them you may need to leach out some of the extra oils in it, and some of them you may need to add a little extra oil to get it all consistent. But I found the product quite nice to work with. There's a few interesting things about it. In the top corner of most of these blocks, especially the #1 series, they actually list in this little circle there what the opacity is. So this one here is 100% opacity, and this one here has a 50% opacity, which means that the 50% one is going to be quite a bit more translucent than the 100%. So this is like straight opaque. This is kind of a 50-50 mix of opaque and translucent. And then they also have a translucent line. I'm going to show you, I've got out here all of the ones that they sent me. I have them in rows and in their series. So here is the #1 series here. I have them a row of what the clay looks like raw, and then what the clay looks like baked. And I have 2 different rows because I did 2 different thicknesses. The reason why I did that was on the ones that were 50% opacity, I wanted to see how translucent they were, and actually on any of them. So I'll show you that. Now, maybe I'll prop this up just a little. Now, for this #1 series, I've got the #1 turquoise blue in this row, number 1 mint, number 1 poppy red, number 1 raspberry, and number 1 English pink. Now, the colors that were 50-50, or the 50% opacity, you can see that they were quite a bit darker. So for example, this turquoise blue, it's quite a bit darker when it's baked. And that happens quite a bit because the pigment when you have a pigment in a translucent clay, the translucency shows through. You get to see the pigment all the way through, and they tend to darken when they bake. This clay needs to be baked at for 30 minutes. And I've done a little bit of testing on it. We'll do at the very end, I'll break these for you and see how strong they are at the different times that I bake them. But I baked all of these samples here for what the package said, 30 minutes at 110, or actually I did it at 130 Celsius or 265 Fahrenheit. I'm a North American girl, so I went with Fahrenheit, but I baked them at 265 Fahrenheit for a half an hour. So that's the differences that you're going to get in color. So there is a bit of a color shift in some of the colors, and that's pretty common throughout the line. A lot of them darken. Now let me just show you on these ones that are, I'll just show you the opacity on them. So this one here is considered 50-50 or a 50% opacity. And if I hold it up against this label, you can kind of see through it, but not a ton, which would make sense for a 50% opacity. Here, the red one, I believe, is 100%. So this is the same thickness. And you can see this is the 100%. It's quite difficult to see through. And if I show you one of the translucent colors, look at how see-through it is. So you can see that they have quite a few differences in the different translucencies of the clay. Now, you can really see this on their translucent series. So these ones here are all translucent colors. You can see when they're raw, they're quite milky looking, and when they're baked, the colors are much truer. This middle row here, where I've got the ones right next to each other, these are both at 3 playing cards thick. I wanted a decent thickness to test them against each other. But these thinner ones that I've got all along the side here are the smallest my pasta machine, my Atlas, would go. So that is about a quarter of a playing card thick. And I did that so I could see the translucency. Now look at the translucent, just the regular translucent. Look at how clear this one is. It's really amazing. I haven't seen another clay that is as clear as this, except for Pardo. Pardo's right there, right along the same level of clearness. So that's really amazing. And then you can see here all of the other colors, like the purple translucent, the blue, turquoise blue, and the poppy or ruby red. They're really quite translucent, which is really a neat feature. They also have a neon series that is very bright. The neon here, the only one I got here was the green. In the thicker amounts, it's quite a bit darker when it's baked than the raw one. This is from the Nature series. This is called Quartz. It darkens a ton, but it's also quite translucent. I would say it's at least 50% translucent. You can see through it, but not as clear as the regular translucent. But it's quite pretty. It's got little flecks in it of gray and black and things in it. It's quite great looking. And I think they have a whole bunch in that Nature series that looks like different stones. Now up here I have the Glamour series and the Shiny series. And Emmeline, she explained to me she wrote me this cute letter and explained all the different series and how they worked. But the difference between the Glamour series and the Shiny series is that the Glamour series is like a white base, so a white translucent base, and the Shiny series would be a black translucent base. So it has a very interesting effect. So you get kind of a pearly looking colors here. So this color here is called Glamour Blue, and it's a very pretty shimmery blue. This color here is called Glamour Flesh. This is the one name that I think is kind of a strange one. I have never seen anyone's flesh be this color, but it's a pretty color. It's a very shimmery, pale pink kind of color. And then this one here is Glamor Gold. This is quite similar to our color called 14 karat gold in Primo, our color. I'm saying that because I use Primo so much. It's very similar to that. And then the Shiny series, they're like these dark, moody metallics that are just gorgeous. I just love them. They were also, they were her favorite too. I drew a blank there on the name. Okay, so here are the different colors. This one is called Violet. This is purple. This one's Cosmos. I'm sort of surprised about this one being called purple. It's not very purple to me. This one actually is very purple, the violet one. But the purple is really quite a beautiful color as well. It's they've got like mica powders in them, so they have this real pretty sheen. The Cosmos is beautiful too. Then there's Shiny Blue. A great one here is called Shiny Duck Green. And then this one's Shiny Green, Shiny Gold, and Shiny Red. I just wanted to show you the difference between the Shiny Gold and the Glamour Gold. And this is where you can really see that the difference in what color is used as a clay base. They both have the same gold mica powders in them, but because this one has like a regular kind of white translucent base, it really has the light gold look. And then this one here, even though all the flecks in it are gold, because it has that dark kind of black translucent base to it, it has more of a bronze look to it. In fact, I think they probably should have just called that one bronze, because to me that seems more like bronze. But I really found this product quite neat to work with. Now let me just show you some little strips here and we'll test the strength. I didn't test it yet, so we're learning this together. I baked 3 different strips, all the same thickness. One I baked, and all at 265. This one I baked for 30 minutes, this one for 45 minutes, and this one for 60. First of all, in comparison in color, there is just maybe a slight difference. Maybe it'll show better here. A slight difference, slightly darker between the 30 minutes and the 60 minutes, but it's very minor. So obviously it's not terribly affected by going in longer, and we'll see how it affects the strength. Okay, so this is the 30-minute one, and I'm just gonna start bending it. This is three playing cards thick. All right, so it's very flexible. Let's see if it'll break. It's showing some signs of lightening, so it's weakening, but it's not breaking very easy. It's certainly not brittle. That's at the 30 minutes. I can break it, I think, eventually. Oh, that's a tough clay. That's a good clay. Okay, so it will eventually break if I go back and forth a million times, I think. But that's at the 30 minutes. This is at the 45. Same kind of lightening in the middle there. I should have counted, I guess, but we'll go back and forth lots of times here and see if it's going to break. It's certainly not going to break easily at this 45 minutes either. So it didn't make it more brittle. And appears to be a tiny bit stronger, though it is starting to show a little bit of cracking there. But it would take quite a bit of work to break that, I believe. And let's just try the 60 minutes. Go back and forth on that. This is great clay. I really enjoyed working with it. It didn't leave a lot of color unless I was trying to add oil to it to soften it. It didn't leave any color on my hands. It was easy to roll out really thin. Even though it seemed really soft, even those ones that were really soft and sticky, they didn't seem to like, they weren't gummy. They were easy to work with. I was really impressed. So I'm gonna have to do some blends and do some cool color mixing. Apparently these colors mix nicely together. Boy, it's just not ever going to break. I'm seeing just a tiniest little bit of cracking there, but it's even less than the other ones. So it certainly is strong at the 30 minutes, does just fine at the longer time. And the colors are unique, they're beautiful. The translucent, I've never seen, other than Pardo clay, a translucent as beautiful as that. It's just thin and gorgeous. And the Shiny series and the Glamour series, they're all beautiful. So I think it's a really great clay. I will leave you a link in the description on where you can get this clay. And I hope this was helpful for you, that you enjoyed this review. If you've got a product that you would like me to test, you've got a technique that you don't understand, or a book you'd like me to review, any kind of thing that you would like me to do a video on in regards to polymer clay, that is, make sure to leave the suggestions in the comment section below, and I'll see if I can make a video for you. All right, so we'll see you next time, and bye for now.